Oh, hello. So glad you clicked upon me. Today I have a book to talk about by Cristina Henríquez. It is called The Book of Unknown Americans. I wanted to make sure I said the author's name right away before I forgot how to pronounce it, since I'm not a Spanish language native. I know slightly a little bit about Spanish, but not enough to matter. Anyway, this book, the book of unknown Americans, not un-Americans, is a novel, and I read it because I have a booktube person that I like to watch, Grace, who is I think in LA, and she recommended the book, and it sounded interesting to me, so I went ahead and got it from the New York Public Library, where it looked like it had not been touched since 2014, but it's hard to say. Maybe it was well cared for. It's by Vintage Books. Yeah, 2014. So, a lot of things have changed since 2014, especially for immigrants, people trying to settle in the U.S. or having to settle in the U.S. And this is about people who have come from there. We have a revolving voices. One chapter is what's her name, Alma, and one chapter, it's various characters in the book, centering on this one particular family that comes from Mexico. That is Arturo, Alma, and Maribel, their daughter. So they have come to America, and they end up going to Delaware. And the reason they go to Delaware is because in order to get the permission, the visa to come to America, they are legal, at least at the outset. They have gotten, Arturo has signed on to work in a mushroom farm, which is, not a farm like, outdoor farm. It is a indoor sort of place where it's dark all the time, and so we get a little insight about what he does, how the work is, and it's miserable. He's on his feet all day, of course, and they have little boxes where the mushrooms are, and he has to pull out the mushrooms that are finished and put them in another box, and so that's the gig. And he doesn't really like it. He had been in construction back home in Mexico, and that construction was a issue with how his daughter got injured and why they came to the US of A. Now, I won't say why they came to America, because all these people were Americans, or are fictional Americans. America is not the USA. America is a continent that includes Canada and the USA and Mexico and Panama and all the Central American countries. And I have weird things that bother me, and one of them is when you start calling the USA, America. You know, this is America, and all these other places are not America. So that doesn't wash with me. So why they end up is where they are is because the daughter was like at 14 years old, was precarious, precocious, and smart and really beautiful, and their only daughter, because they had a hard time becoming pregnant. So we hear that they did have issues with becoming pregnant, and finally did, and had this this beautiful daughter that they adore. But she and her mother had gone to visit the construction site, and the daughter wanted to do something to help show how capable she was, so forth. So Arturo, the dad, was up on a roof, doing some sort of work on the roof, and so he needed some more, like, clay, mud, whatever that was down below, and needed someone to bring it up to him. And so the daughter wanted to do that. So he needed this clay to come up to him, and the daughter wanted to do it. So she said, "Oh, can I do it? Can I do it?" And he said, "No, it's not safe. No, it's not safe." And ultimately, she persuaded Mom to let her climb up this big ladder and give the bucket to her dad, and that's what she did. And her dad's like, So something happened. There was a noise, and Alma was distracted, and there was a horrible accident in that the daughter fell off the ladder and hit her head and had a brain injury. She had an operation and had a little piece of her skull removed to relieve the pressure on her skull, because if you get her brain was swelling with the injury, and this is bad. So she's not how she was before, and they're told that we really don't have the proper school for her here in Mexico. So they they have a list of schools for people with this issue with special needs that is in Mexico, and in the USA. So they they end up he gets a visa, everything's legal, and they go up to the USA, and she gets enrolled in one school where they test her and see what her capabilities are, and she does get sent to this other school, this called the Evers School. So okay, but there's a lot of things that go on with the plot here. The Alma sees this kind of thuggy kid with a skateboard just kind of hanging around, a gringo, and he's kind of checks out Maribel, and he does corner Maribel at one point. He gets her she's Alma watches Maribel very closely, but something happened. She was whatever, and Maribel came off the bus, and she got wrapped up with the other kid, Garrett, I think it was his name, and he has her around the corner, and he's holding up her arms, and he's pulled up her shirt, and her bra is there, and then Alma finds them and stops all this. So that's part of the fear set up here, because you know, these people are they don't speak English, and they're trying to learn, and you know, there's difficulty when you come to a place and you don't speak the language, especially one that is, you know, is such a jingoistic, idiotic country like the USA. It's like, well, you're not talking American? What's the matter with, you know, that kind of thing. But there's a lot of other immigrants in the area, in the building that they live, because apparently it's cheaper to live. He works in Pennsylvania, but it's cheaper to live across the border in Delaware, where they have no sales taxes. Anyway, somehow they've ended up in this property owned by an older immigrant of Hispanic heritage, who manages the place himself. And it's just full of people from all over, you know, all over Central America, and some in South America, Venezuela. So, and we meet all these people and get some of their stories. And they have they get a real community there. I mean, you know, which is something that they miss from back home, because, you know, when you come, the USA is not really very community oriented, you know, at least not in my experience. And you know, I'm part of the problem. I'm not a community sort of guy. I'm you know, rugged, trained, fucking individualist, you know. So there is a kind of tension and suspense that goes through the whole thread, through the whole novel here, in that, you know, you're constantly in the kind of suspense if you're struggling to fit into this, you know, difficult society here. And so that suspense is palpable in the text. The text is beautifully written. She is a really good writer. In, you know, it all just flows. And, you know, I don't know, some people their writing is just like whoop whoop whoop. You know, it's not like it just goes directly in, and the meaning goes into my brain, and I'm not really conscious of the words that I'm reading. Other writers are more difficult. I'm sort of more aware of what's going on here, but, you know, a really particular type of writer, it just goes directly into me, it seems, and that's what we have in this book. So there are, what I like best about the novel is that it does present what is really good about reading, as opposed to like films. You know, watching a film adaptation of this, you might not get the feeling of empathy for these people, because they are telling their own story in their own words. It's all in English. It's not, you know, there are a few Spanish phrases thrown in, but, you know, even though they're speaking Spanish to one another, it's all in English, so it's very, very easy in that way. But you get real empathy for their issues and what they're trying to do, and them as people. And that's why I think, you know, literature, books, reading is so good, because it gives you empathy, more empathy for other humans. Like, you hear the stories of other humans and what they go through, and you can kind of feel it in yourself. And that is something that I don't think film can do, really, or if it can't do it as deeply and can do it maybe rarely in to give you, you know, without like narration or something like that, give you a real feeling of empathy for the characters. You just watch people do stuff. And watching people do stuff and talk is not the same as hearing what's going on inside their brains. So that was something I thought was really, really good about the book, and I really liked that very much. Toward the end, she has a whole romance going on. So there is another kid who's been there a little longer and he is his dad's a bit of a roughneck. I think there's 4 of them in the family, 2 boys, and Celia, and the dad's name I forgot, but his older brother Henrique was a soccer star, and he is this other kid is not going to be a soccer star. It's just not his thing. He's a different kind of a kid. He tries and he just fails. He's not. So he, you know, kind of lies to his dad. His dad is very, very into him being a soccer player, and you know the kid is like, nah, he just can't. So he just sort of lies to his dad eventually and says he's going. But the point is, he becomes involved. You know, the families get together, and eventually Maribel and this kid are both teens in school, and they really have a connection. He's happy to be with a beautiful girl who all the beautiful girls reject him at school because he's you know, not outgoing, not a sports star or whatever. But with Maribel, with her special needs, she's more vulnerable to his attraction to her, and she's available, and because she has no other friends. And she has, you know, she doesn't really speak. She's really in a kind of a bad way. So through the course of them getting together, they become friendly, and Maribel improves. Maribel improves a great deal, and they have a real connection between them. And he's really just kind of in love with her. We never hear of Maribel's interior story. We just hear what other people are doing with her. So there are you know, there's the issue with the boy I told you before, the gringo boy who assaults her. So Alma, the mother, is very, very protective because of that, and that ends up kind of restricting the two of them getting together there and being you know, being able to get together, and something goes on. The dad, they get some money. The kids' family gets some money from home, and he ends up buying a car because he just wants a car. You know, he doesn't really need a car. So some stuff goes on with the car and gets very plotty toward the end, and so to me the best parts of the novel were the ability to project this empathy for these immigrant characters, and you really feel for them, and toward the end it gets a little more melodramatic in that these big things kind of go on, and it leads to actually kind of maybe a tragic ending. I won't tell you what goes on, but you know, it gets a lot more plotty and, you know, kind of melodramatic at the end, and so I didn't really love that part so much. But that being said, it was you know, a really fine book by presenting the empathy, and that's really important now. because this is 2014, and look how bad things have gotten since then. And I thought about these characters, and I thought, what is going to happen? What happens already with immigrants and this jingoistic bullshit that Trump rode in on. Oh, the immigrants, and it's as if the immigrants are the ones who are messing up everything. The immigrants are not the ones who gave the big tax credits to the billionaires. The immigrants are not the ones who gave more billions to the military-industrial complex and causing the wars all around the world and bankrupting the country. And while the military contractors are basically robbing the U.S. Overrides and overruns, and that aren't even calculated. They don't even they're supposedly to look into these things, but they never can. So it's like, oh well, there probably $1 trillion went here or there, whatever. So, but let's just give them more, and the other things with the USA supporting genocide of like another situation like that, like a bunch of settlers go into some place, a lot of them from Europe, go to the Middle East and start slaughtering from the outset 70 years ago, and still, slaughter the people who were there as if it's theirs. So, and now in the U.S., this big, beautiful bill that went through, this horrifying piece of crap that this fat-ass idiot Trump, who's trashing the country with the tariffs and all that. He does not know what he's doing at all. This guy is a fucking idiot, and he's in the control of other fucking idiots, and it's a fucking fucked up situation. Did I say enough F words to cause you to understand how upset I am about this? But part of this big beautiful bill is what, I think it was $100 billion or something for more ICE agents. So there's going to be even more ICE agents. And what are these people? These people are thugs that wander the streets, pull people off the streets, don't identify themselves, wear masks. If you ask them who they are, they say, fuck you, here, get in the car, whatever. This is really, really bad, and there's going to be many, many more of these. The next few years, for people who have forced to come here after the USA trashed their countries, like the USA does not allow any south of the border countries, maybe Mexico, but any other south of the border countries to have any kind of decent government. And if they try to do it, they get sanctioned. They get CIA agents into their country who try to disrupt everything. So there is a regime change, and this has been going on for the entire century, 20th century, and now still. And it's like then the regular folks say, why are these people all coming here? Well, we've trashed their countries. Our government and our military industrial complex, our CIA with its secret budget, and we don't know what the hell they're doing with their billions, have trashed their governments, trashed their countries. No wonder they're off looking for someplace else to live, to try to get by as human beings. Same thing in the Middle East. We've gone and bombed all these countries, regime change that doesn't really work. Now the Taliban is back in Afghanistan after we spent, whatever, $5 trillion there, whatever it was, murdered all these people and our own people, and now it's just back to the same thing. So it's like, well, that was brilliant. But, in these ruckus, all these people are sent wandering around the world looking for a place to live. And now it's happening in Europe, and it's happening here, and now we're going to have these ICE agents capturing people and sending them to the most abominable, horrible concentration camp like prisons that have basically ever been created. And it is a real horror. And, I'm not going to be able to do anything about it myself, so it's just tragic and bad to see. And I've seen this building for 50 years, and now they're trashing us. They're going to raiding Medicaid and Medicare and Social Security and everything else they're doing. So whatever. The empathy available in this book is wonderful. How you feel what these people are going through, and we need more things like that and more people to be aware of how difficult it is for other people that sometimes they look down on and don't even think as humans or Americans. So they are unknown Americans, as the title says. The Book of Unknown Americans by Cristina Henríquez. Yeah, see, I forgot how to say it already. Henríquez. Thank you for watching. I'm trying to get my channel here down to 0 views. I know that I will have 1 when I have 0 views for some of my videos. It hasn't happened yet. The last one was 6. No, it's up to 7 now. So I'm getting better. So we'll see what happens. And I hope people are doing something else instead of watching my stupid videos. Bye.